You are 43 years old, and this morning you ate figs from the same tree your grandfather planted. The mountain behind your city has been there your entire life. It has been there for every life anyone in Pompeii has ever lived. It is so permanent that nobody calls it dangerous anymore. They call it home. They call it the backdrop. They call it nothing, because you do not name the things that have simply always been. Today is August 24th, and the year your calendar marks as the 79th year of the Common Era, and you do not know that in 11 hours the mountain will open. Not erupt, open. Split itself apart like something that was never a mountain at all, but a container, and containers eventually run out of patience. Right now it is morning. The air smells like bread and sulfur, and the sulfur is not new, so you don't register it. You have smelled sulfur your whole life. Your city sits at the edge of a volcanic field, and the ground here has always breathed a little. The wells have tasted like iron for the last several days. The birds left 3 days ago. You noticed that? You thought, strange. You moved on. You have a fuller problem than birds. A shipment of garum is late from the coast, and your business partner Lucius has been unreachable since the small tremors started last week. And the tremors have been happening, small ones, barely worth mentioning, for almost 2 weeks now. The earth shakes sometimes. This is Campania. This is what the earth does here. You have felt it your entire life, and nothing has ever come from it. You live in a house with a courtyard open to the sky. There is a mosaic on your entryway floor, a dog, black tessellated stone, and the words, Cave Canum. Beware of the dog, though you have not had a dog in 6 years. You kept the mosaic because it was your father's. You kept the house because it was your father's. You kept the business because it was your father's and his father's before him, and the city around you is so old and so dense and so permanent that sometimes you forget a city is made of choices. Pompeii is just Pompeii. It has always been here. It will always be here. You have 20,000 neighbors who believe the same thing, which is to say, you believe it the way you believe the ground is solid, without believing it at all, without ever having had reason to think about it. At noon, the mountain moves. But first, the morning. Because the morning matters. The morning is the thing that makes this day unbearable to think about from 17 centuries away, which is the only distance from which anyone will ever be able to think about it. This morning, you are in the most alive place you have ever been. Pompeii in August is heat and argument and commerce and the smell of bread from the bakeries that open before dawn and stay open until the last customer has been served. There are 200 bakeries in the city. There are 47 wine bars. There are brothels with painted menus and bathhouses with heated floors and a forum surrounded by columns so white they hurt to look at in the afternoon sun. Your city is not quaint. Your city is not a village. Pompeii is a functioning Roman city at the height of Roman civilization, which is to say it is one of the most sophisticated human settlements that has ever existed on this planet. A place of running water and sewage systems and public libraries and elected officials and arguments about bread prices that have been going on since your grandfather's grandfather's time. You know all of this the way you know your own name, without knowing that you know it, without understanding what a rare thing it is to be inside a civilization that works. You are inside it completely this morning, and the morning is ordinary, and the mountain is behind everything the way it has always been, which is to say, invisibly. Completely invisibly. A thing so permanent it has become part of the definition of the place, and therefore part of the definition of you. This is not the word for it. Moves. But there is no word in your language for what it does. There is a sound first. Not a boom. Not thunder. Something below sound. Something you feel in your back teeth and in the soles of your feet before you hear it at all. And then the hearing catches up, and it is enormous. It is the largest noise you have ever heard, and the mountain is gone. Not gone. Changed. Replaced. Where there was a peak, there is now a column of black and gray and white matter climbing into the sky with a speed that looks wrong, that looks like the opposite of falling, that looks like the sky is being filled from below. The column rises. You're watching it from the street outside your house. It rises for an hour, then 2. It rises until it is higher than anything you can make sense of. A structure taller than any building in Rome, taller than anything human beings have ever made or will make for another 1,000 years. And it is made of rock and fire and the liquefied interior of the earth. And it is rising over your city, and it has not touched you yet. This is the part that breaks people afterward, the ones who survive, the window. There is a window after the column rises, before it falls. Approximately 5 hours where Pompeii is terrifying but survivable. The mountain is screaming. The air is full of pumice, small pieces, lightweight, raining down like the world is shedding skin. And it is getting darker, and there is a sound that doesn't stop. A roar from the mountain that sits underneath all other sound like a floor, and people are leaving. You watch them leave. Your neighbor Tertius is loading his cart. His wife is carrying the strongbox. His children are walking fast in the direction of the sea, and you are standing in your courtyard, and you are looking at the mosaic dog on the floor, and you are calculating your business, your silver. The property deed your father signed. The things that took 3 generations to accumulate. Well, you tell yourself the pumice is not thick yet. The house is holding. The mountain has done this before. There are old stories, legends. Herculaneum was buried once, people say, but that was myth. That was long ago. The mountain has always returned to silence. You tell yourself you will wait 1 more hour and see. The pumice is light. This is the cruelest fact about this particular day. Each individual piece weighs almost nothing. It falls from the sky like gray snow, and it lands in your courtyard, and it lands on your roof, and it is almost gentle, almost quiet, except that it does not stop. It falls for hours. It falls the way time falls. Incrementally, without announcement, without any single moment you could point to and say, here, this is where it became too much. By early evening, the pumice on your roof is knee-deep. Roofs in Pompeii are not built for snow. They are built for Mediterranean sun and occasional rain. The weight that looks like nothing, accumulated over hours, becomes weight that nothing can hold. Around you, in the dark that should not be dark at this hour, but is dark because the column has eaten the sun, you hear roofs beginning to fail, not all at once, one at a time. A crack, a pause, a sudden absence of a sound you didn't know you were listening for. You move to the street, but not before you go back inside one more time. This is the thing the survivors will not forgive themselves for, the ones who got out, the going back inside. You go back for the lockbox. You go back because 3 generations of work are in that box, and you cannot leave it. And this is not greed. This is not stupidity. This is love in its most material form. The box has a weight that feels like the combined weight of every hour your father worked and his father before him, and you cannot put it down. You are a Roman. You understand that objects carry the dead forward. The mosaic is your father. The house is your grandfather. The box is all of them. You stand in the entryway beside the dog that will not bark, and you hold the box, and the roof in the rear of the house makes a sound, like a held breath being released, and you go. Your street is unrecognizable. The pumice has risen to the tops of the curbstones. It fills the spaces between the stepping stones you used to cross in rain. It covers the wheel ruts in the road that have been there since before you were born. There are people moving in the darkness, shapes of people, carrying lamps and children and boxes of things they could not leave behind. And the air is hot, and the air tastes like iron, and the air hurts a little to breathe. You are among them now. You are part of the moving current of people who waited too long and are moving anyway, because the moving instinct is the last thing to go, because the body knows before the mind admits it, because you are an animal, and animals move toward open space when the walls close in. The sea is the direction. Always the sea. Pompeii faces a harbor. Boats mean escape. Boats mean distance. Boats mean the possibility of looking back at the mountain from the water and watching it kill the city you were born in without being inside it. Thousands of people are moving toward the harbor. You are among them. The pumice is up to your shins in some places, your knees in others, and it shifts under your weight like sand on a slope. The darkness is not darkness exactly, but a kind of depthlessness. A world without shadows because there is no light source with any angle to it, only the red glow from the mountain's throat and the lamps the people are carrying, and the fire that has started somewhere to the north in the direction of the Forum. Here is what is happening above you, in the column that you cannot see and would not understand if you could. The eruption has been feeding itself for 6 hours. The column of material rises 17 miles into the sky. At that height, the column begins to cool. Cooled material is heavy, heavy material falls. The column, over the course of the next few hours, will begin to collapse. Not gradually, not gently, but in sections, enormous sections. Hundreds of thousands of tons of superheated gas and rock and ash collapsing downward along the flanks of the mountain at 200 kilometers per hour. This is called a pyroclastic surge. There's no word for it in your language. There's no concept for it in any language spoken by any human being alive in your time. It is not fire, and it is not wind, and it is not flood. It is all 3 moving together as a single thing. A burning wave, a current of gas, heated to 300 degrees, moving faster than anything alive can move. And it is coming down the mountain toward your city. And it will arrive before you reach the harbor, and it will last approximately 4 minutes. And in those 4 minutes, it will end every life remaining in Pompeii without exception. And you will not see it coming because the darkness is complete, and it travels faster than sound travels, and there is no warning that precedes it. What the archaeologists will find 17 centuries from now is this: you are moving. Almost everyone they find is mid-motion. You are not the person who stayed. You are not the person who sat down in the corner and waited. You are the person who calculated and delayed and calculated again and then chose and moved. The silver you took with you is in your hand. This is true. They will find you with objects in your hands, the things that represented the accumulated work of a family across time, the portable evidence that your life had been a life. They will find you in the street. You are 43 years old, and you are moving toward the sea, and the wave that kills you arrives at 1 in the morning, and it is 4 minutes long, and then it is done, and then Pompeii is done, and then the ash settles over the done city like a sentence being finished, and then 17 centuries begin. When they open the city, you are still there. The ash preserved the shape of you, the cavity of you, the space your body occupied for the moment the world stopped. They will pour plaster into that cavity, and you will return. Not you, but your outline, your posture. The exact angle of your arm as you moved through the street in the direction of a sea you did not reach. Millions of people will walk through the city you died in, and they will stand beside the shape of you, and they will try to understand what it felt like, and they will almost understand it, and then they will not, because the mountain is quiet now, because the sky is blue now, because the sulfur smell is gone, and the birds are back, and the stepping stones across the street are visible again, and the wheel ruts are there in the road, and none of it looks like the end of anything at all. It just looks like a street. It looks like the kind of street where someone could spend a whole life, which is exactly what it was. And then, on one morning in August, wasn't. You ate figs this morning, from the tree your grandfather planted. The tree is still there. The roots went too deep for the mountain to reach. In the courtyard, under the ash, the mosaic dog is waiting. Beware of the dog. The tessellated eyes still staring at the door your father hung, the door you walked out of this morning without closing behind you, because you thought you were coming back. You always thought you were coming back. This is not naivety. This is not failure of imagination. This is what it means to be alive inside a life. The assumption, baked into every action, that there will be a tomorrow shaped roughly like today. The door you left open is open because you were coming back. The figs half-eaten on the kitchen table are half-eaten because you were coming back. The letter you started writing to your cousin in Naples, and set aside because there was time. There was always time. There would be tomorrow and the day after that, and the long, slow, ordinary continuation of everything. That letter is on the table, too. It will be there when they open the city. Unfinished. Waiting. The most human document in the entire buried ruin. A sentence that stopped mid-word, as if the hand that was holding the stylus simply had somewhere else to be.